Hi guys, I just wanted to jump on to have a little chat or to share some thoughts that I've been having the last few months really. But before I kind of brought them out and spoke them out, I needed to go inwards to myself to question where they were coming from and understand what they were bringing up for me and what I needed to work on first before I deciphered, I suppose, whether it was something to share or not. I tried to write a post yesterday, and it's just something it's really hard to, I suppose, put into words when you're trying to write it down. So I thought, I'll just bite the bullet and come on and just speak it out. Okay, so basically, what I've been thinking about is just, I suppose, everything that's going on in the world at the moment. You know, there's a lot going on, and I'm not gonna get into it because what I want to say is not specifically about what's going on, more so about how I've observed reactions to it. And as we all know, every action has a consequence, and I suppose this is just a call to people to be a bit more aware of what they're talking about and how they are speaking. Sometimes things, I suppose, might not come across right, or they might not go down too well with people. A lot of people have a lot of different views, and this doesn't just go for what's going on in the world. It can be, what's going on in your own life with your own friends and family or job or whatever may be going on. But what I'm observing is reactions to what's going on in the world. So the insights that I am having and the insights that I suppose are being shown to me are about one of the 7 principles of the universe. According to Hermes, the Greek philosopher, or some say Thoth, the Egyptian god. And I'm sure we've all heard it, especially anybody who has worked or dabbled in the energy side of things, the energy world, the spiritual world, I suppose we call it. As above, so below, as within, so without. I love that saying. I think it just gives us all a clue to why we are here in the world. It is my view. I know it's a lot of people's view, but my view alone is that we are here as souls to advance ourselves. So we come down into the physical bodies to undergo all these lessons and experience all these harsher emotions and energies and learn how to deal with them and how to transmute them. We come to learn how to master the mind, because really we can manifest anything that we want, but we are our own worst enemies and we stop ourselves. We allow our mind to control what really only the soul should be controlling, and that's just a human thing, and that's what we've come here to learn, to try and transcend. That's my view anyway. That's how I see it. So I suppose as an energy teacher, and a lot of my friends and spiritual soul family would be the same, have learned and have taught the same principles about manifestation, about as I said, the law of as above, so below, as within, so without. And what that really means is, it's probably what I should say first, is what's in us is what's around us. What we have inside of ourselves, we are going to see reflected back to us in the world around us, in order to make us aware of what it is in here that we need to work on. So what I'm seeing a lot of in the world at the moment is people kind of forgetting that concept. And I mean, I did it at the beginning of the pandemic, you know. At first I saw it like, oh my God, this is brilliant. This is Mother Earth taking time out. This is teaching all humans to look after each other and think of each other, and it's taking and pairing us right back, you know, the lockdowns, and making us realise what actually is of value, that it's our friends and our family and spending time with them, and it's not the material items I should say. And then a lot of stuff came up for me, and I saw, you know, the government, oh my God, how nasty are they, how terrible are they, they shouldn't be in power. And I went down that rabbit hole, like completely down that rabbit hole, you know. And I won't go into everything, because I know some people, you know, videos and stuff are getting censored for certain languages they're using and stuff. So I'm not going to go there, but I'm going to say is I went down the rabbit hole. I get it. And then I came out the other side, and I saw things a little bit differently, and I realised that what I was seeing around me was actually the stuff that I needed to work on. And when I started working on it and transmuting it, then all of a sudden I saw things differently. And I suppose I expected not everybody, but you know, I expected that that's how it was gonna go for a lot of people. And the last few months I've literally just been getting a bit of a whoosh to try and share this, just to remind people, I suppose, not to get stuck in the narrative, to remember that what you're seeing around you is what's in you. So it's easy for, and I know some people's egos now at the minute listening to this are going to be kicking up and going, oh no, she doesn't understand, or she's not talking about me. Or all I'm asking you to do, really listening to this, is be open. Eat humble pie, as a friend of mine used to say. And be willing to go, I'm going to stop for a moment and sit with myself and ask. I'm going to look past the outer layers. I'm going to just ask myself, no matter who I am, whether I'm a healer for 100 years, or, you know, whether I am not to do with healing or energy work, it doesn't matter. I'm asking you just to sit with yourself for 5 minutes after this video and just go, if I'm being really honest with myself, is there some part of that that's just resonated? Is there some part of that I can work on with myself and with myself, in order to have a ripple effect, to start changing the narrative now, because it's going on long enough. So what I was saying is, it's very easy for us to fall into that trap of the narrative of feeling like I have to be the one to bring it out to the world. I have to shed a light on the dark for other people to understand. Some of the terms that I have grown to not be able to stand are the words awake, asleep, sheep. To me, if you were using these words, you were segregating people just as much as what's going on out in that world now. You were labeling people, and you were making assumptions about them because they don't hold the same belief that you do. My opinion on that, maybe I shouldn't be sharing my opinions, but to me, it doesn't sit right with me to see people be that way with each other. It doesn't sit right with me to see the separation and the segregation that's going on in society. But at the same time, that I believe that that's not really right. I don't believe it's right in the spiritual world for people to be causing separation or segregation, even if they don't realise they're doing it. But if you're labelling somebody as different, or as they're not as far along as I am, they're not awake, is that right either? You know? You have your beliefs and absolutely honour them. But other people have their beliefs and they are more than entitled to them. And it's not for you to judge them. And it's not for you to decide who's awake and who's not. And it's not for you to decide that you are more awake than anybody else. Work on yourself only. As above, so below, as within, so without. If you are seeing control around you, have you questioned yourself why? Have you sat and looked very deeply within yourself to see where in you, in your soul, are you holding an imbalance to do with control? Before you go sharing or telling anybody else or telling people they are right or wrong in their views, or developing whatever opinions about other people and their views, have you sat with yourself honestly and asked yourself, why am I being shown this? Why am I seeing the world this way? Why, when one person might see greed in a certain situation, they might think, oh, they're only doing it because they're greedy and they want money. Another person might see it like, oh, they're just trying to control us. Another person might see it like, oh, they're just trying to help us, they're doing their best. Why, when different people look at the exact same situation, do they see it so differently? And if your answer is because they're not awake, or because they are missing something, or because they anything, you are not sitting with yourself and you're not looking inside yourself. And that's where you need to look. As above, so below. As within, so without. Why are you seeing what you're seeing? What in you needs to be worked on? And it doesn't mean that it's in you. It doesn't mean, control is just an example that I'm using because it's just the most that's been around. There's a million different ones I could use. As I said, greed, and not just relating to what's going on in the world outside. This goes on in your home, in your whatever's going on in your life, in your work, in your job. Why are you seeing what you're seeing? Why are you experiencing what you're experiencing? And it's not to say if it is control, just for the example, that you're a controlling person and you need to work on not being, or you have controlling tendencies. It might be that, but it might not be that. It might be that you have experienced control through certain events in your life and they have left an impact on your energy and you're holding on to something that you need to let go of. It can be that it might be something that you don't even understand, that might not be from this life, it might be from a past life. But there is something somewhere in you. If you are seeing these things, there is a reason for it. And I suppose, again, as above, so below, as within, so without. When we heal ourselves and when we are in complete balance, that is what we will see around us. We will see balance, we will see love, and we will see joy. And we're not going to see those things until we look in here and we stop pointing fingers at other people and we stop saying they're not seeing this, they're not, when they see it, when they wake up. No, it's in here. You need to work on that yourself. Don't worry about others. They'll do their bit when they're good and ready, when they're meant to. And I suppose one other thing that has been coming to my mind is language. So another thing that we would thing, it's not a great word, another concept that we would teach about is manifestation, and how we can manifest the life that we want using affirmations, using your mindset, as I said, mastering the mind. So, you might have someone come to you that needs financial abundance, and you say, well, write yourself a check from the universe. Walk around knowing, don't just say it's coming to me, know that it's already come to you, that it's here, that you have that money in your bank that you need. For anything like that people need to call to them or want to call to them, that's how you do it. You just know that it's yours. You don't know it's going to be yours, you know that it's yours. And we would tell people to use affirmations. So again, if it's financial abundance that someone needs, they might say an affirmation such as I have all the financial support I need in this life. I am financially secure. It's an affirmation. It's a solid statement of I have this. This is how it is. And when you do that and you believe it with every cell in your body, you set it into motion with the universe, and it happens. When we have a lot of people come together and do that all together on the one affirmation or the one manifestation, its power is amplified so much. It's huge. So I have begun to see a lot of statements around from both the spiritual community, and then obviously I don't watch mainstream media, but I know from friends and family that kind of what way that kind of goes, and then down to just people writing the statuses on Facebook or just chatting away in the street. There's so many affirmations being said without being realised. How many times I have seen written down, they are controlling us. They are constantly. I'm not going to repeat them here because I'm not going to give them the energy. I'm using the control one simply just because that's the example that I've used. So many of them I've seen. They are complete affirmations. It's a hard pill to swallow, but there is a fine line between saying we knew this was going to happen and it's been manifested because we've said so many times, this is it, this is what's happening, this is what they are doing. Instead of changing the narrative, instead of changing the speech and how you're speaking of things. Instead of saying things like, we are free. All the issues of the last 2 years are over. They are done. There's so many different ways we could speak so much more positively about what might be going on in the world, about what might be going on in your life, and about other people around you. And most importantly, about the people around you and how you're speaking to them, especially people who might not be too aware about manifestation and affirmations. Help people understand. Don't, by all means, don't say that. Don't be going around telling people what they can and can't say, obviously, but explain, like, Jesus, don't be affirming that. Change how you're speaking and how you're thinking on things. Send out those vibes, not the vibes of they are, followed by negative. Like, the most powerful statement in the world, I am that I am. So, food for thought. I know everybody that I've seen, everybody that's sharing stuff, everybody that I know everybody is just trying to do their best. Everybody is trying to help each other. I get that. I suppose this video is just to help remind people of some of the little bits and bobs that we can do to manifest things a bit easier. I think that's it. I suppose around all this as well, I've had a lot come up about Atlantis, especially around the healers. I feel like there's an awful lot of stuff coming up. I suppose that's why I'm using control as an example, because it's something that I've worked on myself. As I said before I put this video out, I wanted to I worked on myself for a good while before putting it out. So what's coming to me now is a lot of stuff to do with Atlantis in a lot of different ways, and it's interesting because, you know, I was always eager to mad, loved all that time period. I always knew about Atlantis, but I was never overly intrigued by it. So it has now come to me. So I have a workshop coming up for anybody who feels like they need a bit of help to do the clearing. You don't need to come to a workshop to clear your energy. You don't need to come to a workshop to work on letting go of all that stuff. But it might help some people. So I do have that coming up. I will post more information on it in the coming days. There's 2 lovely workshops coming up actually, but look, I'll post them in a separate post. They're not really for this one. So thanks for listening. 22 minutes. Hope I didn't bore the life out of you all. Whoever's meant to make it to the end made it to the end, and thank you. And namaste. Have a lovely evening.